The silent invasion. They came in silence, invisible to our primitive detection systems. The X-ray Empire had been watching Earth for decades, their quantum-cloaked vessels hovering at the edges of our solar system. They saw what they believed to be an insignificant species, fractured, violent, and technologically inferior. Their reports to the Imperial High Command dismissed humans as barely worth the resources required for conquest. Dr. Sarah Chen first noticed the anomaly while analyzing data from the new quantum telescope array in lunar orbit. The microscopic fluctuations in background radiation suggested something massive was displacing space-time itself. At first, her colleagues at the Lunar Observatory dismissed her findings as equipment malfunction. But Sarah knew better. She worked through 3 lunar nights, refining her calculations and gathering more data. The pattern became undeniable. Earth was surrounded by a network of massive vessels, each larger than any human spacecraft ever built. But their presence wasn't the most disturbing discovery. The X-ray were preparing for invasion. General Michael Okonjo read Sarah's classified report with growing concern. As head of the newly formed United Earth Defense Force, he had been waiting for confirmation of what military intelligence had long suspected. Humanity wasn't alone, and our first contact wouldn't be peaceful. How long have they been there? He asked during the Emergency Security Council meeting. Based on historical astronomical data, at least 50 years, Sarah replied, her hologram flickering slightly in the secure chamber. They've been studying us, learning our weaknesses, but they made one critical mistake. The assembled military and political leaders leaned forward as Sarah continued. They underestimated human ingenuity. While their technology is advanced, they've become complacent. Their quantum cloaking systems haven't been upgraded in centuries because no species they've encountered could detect them. Until now. General Okonjo smiled grimly. And they don't know we can see them. No. Their surveillance systems are still based on traditional electromagnetic detection. They have no idea we've developed quantum detection capabilities. We have a window of opportunity, but it's closing fast. The next 6 months saw the greatest secret mobilization in human history. Under the cover of a civilian space infrastructure program, Earth's nations united to build a defense fleet unlike anything the X-ray could imagine. Hidden shipyards on Mars and Europa worked tirelessly, constructing vessels that combined human innovation with insights gleaned from studying the X-ray's own technology. Sarah worked closely with the Defense Force, helping to develop countermeasures against X-ray weapons. Her team discovered that the aliens' reliance on quantum technology had a critical vulnerability. Their systems couldn't adapt quickly to unexpected quantum state changes. It was a weakness born of their species' rigid, hierarchical nature. The first human quantum ships were ready just as the X-ray began moving their fleet into attack position. Their high command had finally decided Earth's resources were worth harvesting, its population suitable for slave labor in their distant mining colonies. They expected a swift victory over a primitive species that would never see them coming. Instead, they found themselves facing an enemy that had turned their own technological arrogance against them. The first battle would begin soon, but humanity was ready. We would not go quietly into the night. The silent invasion was about to become a very loud war for survival. General Okonjo stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant, Earth's first quantum battleship, watching as his fleet moved into position. Sarah's latest intelligence report confirmed the X-ray still hadn't detected them. In less than 24 hours, the aliens would launch their invasion, expecting to find a helpless planet. "Send the message to all ships," he ordered. "Operation Thunderstrike begins at dawn." The X-ray were about to learn a harsh lesson about humanity. We don't just survive. We adapt, we innovate, and we fight back. The silent invasion was about to be met with humanity's roar. Project Thunderstrike. The quantum engines of Earth's hidden fleet hummed with barely contained power. In underground bases across the solar system, thousands of pilots and crew members prepared for humanity's first interstellar war. Project Thunderstrike was unlike anything in human history. a coordinated strike against an enemy that thought themselves invisible. Commander Maya Patel ran another systems check on her quantum fighter, the latest addition to Earth's arsenal. The sleek craft represented humanity's greatest technological achievement, a fusion of terrestrial innovation and reverse-engineered Zax-ray technology. Her squadron, the Ghost Ravens, would lead the first strike. All systems nominal, reported her co-pilot, ARI. Quantum signature masking at maximum efficiency. The Zax-ray still show no sign of detecting our presence. Maya smiled grimly. The aliens' overconfidence would be their undoing. While they had spent decades watching Earth from their cloaked ships, humanity had been watching right back. Every transmission they sent, every movement they made, had been analyzed and decoded by Earth's quantum computers. Dr. Chen's breakthrough hadn't just allowed us to see them. It had given us access to their entire command network. The Zax-ray's rigid hierarchy meant all tactical decisions came from their flagship. By monitoring their communications, Earth's defense forces knew exactly when and where the invasion would begin. The plan was audacious. Instead of waiting for the Zax-ray to attack, humanity would strike first. The Ghost Ravens would target the aliens' command and control systems, while the main fleet engaged their capital ships. Without their centralized leadership, the Zax-ray's strict military doctrine would become their greatest weakness. Ghost lead to all Ravens, Maya broadcasted to her squadron. Final equipment check. Remember, we only get one shot at this. The moment we engage, we lose the element of surprise. Her pilots responded with calm professionalism. They had trained for this moment in simulations using real Zax-ray tactical data. They knew their enemies' patterns, their weaknesses, and most importantly, their blind spots. General Okonjo's voice came through the quantum comm. All units, this is command. The Zax-ray fleet is moving into attack position. Their invasion begins in 6 hours. We launch in 5. Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for every species these conquerors have enslaved. Maya felt a surge of pride. Humanity wasn't just defending itself. We were taking a stand against an empire that had terrorized countless civilizations. The intelligence gathered from the Zax-ray network had revealed the true scope of their atrocities. Entire species reduced to slavery, worlds stripped of resources, cultures erased. The next few hours passed in tense preparation. Engineering teams made final adjustments to the quantum drives, while tactical officers reviewed their attack plans. The Zax-ray's own battle logs had provided invaluable insights into their strategies and capabilities. 3 hours to launch, Araya announced, detecting increased activity in the Zax-ray fleet. They're beginning their pre-invasion protocols. Maya watched through her quantum sensors as the alien ships moved with mechanical precision. Their formation was perfect, their timing exact, and utterly predictable. The Zax-ray valued order above all else, unable to comprehend that their greatest strength could become their greatest vulnerability. Ghost Lead, General Okonjo's voice crackled through the comm. New intelligence from Dr. Chen. The Zax-ray are deploying their planetary containment grid ahead of schedule. Your launch window has been moved up. Prepare for immediate deployment. Maya's heart raced as she signaled her squadron. This was it. Humanity's first strike against an interstellar empire. The Zax-ray thought they were facing a primitive species barely capable of spaceflight. Instead, they would face an enemy that had turned their own technology against them. Ghost Ravens, launch sequence initiated. Remember your training. We're not just pilots anymore. We're humanity's first line of defense. The Zax-ray gave us one chance to submit. Let's show them why that was their last mistake. The underground hangar doors opened silently in the vacuum of space. One by one, Earth's quantum fighters emerged from their hidden bases across the solar system. The greatest surprise attack in human history was about to begin, and the Zax-ray would never see it coming. The first strike. The quantum strike caught the Zax-ray completely off guard. One moment, their invasion fleet was moving into position, secure in their technological superiority. The next, they found themselves surrounded by hundreds of human warships that seemed to materialize from nowhere. Commander Maya Patel led her Ghost Ravens straight for the Zaxxray flagship, their quantum drives leaving no trace in normal space. The alien vessel was massive, a city-sized fortress of advanced technology. But size meant nothing when you couldn't see your enemy coming. Ghost Ravens, execute pattern Sigma, Maya ordered. Her squadron split apart, each fighter targeting specific points on the flagship's hull. Dr. Chen's analysis had revealed critical weaknesses in Zaxxray ship design. Their quantum shielding couldn't adapt to simultaneous attacks from multiple vectors. The first shots of the battle were precise and devastating. Human quantum beams pierced Zaxxray shields as if they weren't there. The aliens' rigid command structure worked against them. Without direct orders, their gunners hesitated to return fire against an enemy they barely understood. General Okonjo watched from the UES Defiant as chaos erupted across the Zaxxray fleet. All ships engage according to plan. Target their command and control systems first. Don't let them coordinate a response. The battle unfolded like a deadly dance. Human ships moved with unpredictable patterns, their quantum drives allowing them to appear and disappear at will. The Zaxxray, accustomed to fighting enemies who followed conventional tactics, found their carefully planned formations falling apart. Their flagship's quantum core is destabilizing. AIA reported as Maya's squadron completed another attack run. They're trying to re-establish their command network, but our quantum interference is blocking their signals. The Zaxxray's response, when it finally came, was predictable and ineffective. Their ships moved in rigid patterns, following battlefield protocols that hadn't changed in centuries. Every maneuver was cataloged in their own tactical databases that Earth had spent years studying. Multiple Zaxxray vessels attempting emergency quantum jumps came the report from Earth's sensor stations. Their jump signatures are scattered. They're breaking formation. Maya watched as the mighty Zaxxray fleet began to fragment. Without their central command, without their precious order, they were falling into disarray. Some ships retreated, while others launched desperate attacks that only exposed them to more precise human strikes. The flagship itself was now dark, its quantum core shut down by the Ghost Raven's precision attacks. The mighty vessel that had commanded the conquest of countless worlds was dead in space, its crew unable to comprehend how their perfect invasion had turned into a devastating defeat. This is General Okonjo to all Earth forces. Phase 1 is complete. Begin broadcast of the surrender demand. Let's see how the mighty Zaxxray handle being on the other side of an ultimatum. The message that went out to the remaining alien ships was simple. To all Zaxxray forces, your command structure is broken. Your invasion has failed. Surrender now, or face the full consequences of your aggression against Earth. The response was immediate and unexpected. Across the battlefield, individual Zaxxray ships began powering down their weapons. Without their hierarchy, without direct orders from their superiors, the alien crews defaulted to self-preservation. Maya couldn't help but smile as she watched the Zaxxray fleet surrender. They had spent decades studying humanity, yet had failed to understand our greatest strength. Where they saw our independence as a weakness, it had proven to be our salvation. While they relied on rigid order, we thrived in chaos. Ghostly to all Ravens, she broadcast. Form up on my position. The battle's won. But the war's not over. The Zaxxray Empire spans hundreds of worlds. Today we showed them humanity won't be conquered. Tomorrow, we start liberating every species they've enslaved. As her squadron fell into formation, Maya looked back at Earth, barely visible against the star-filled backdrop. The Zaxxray had chosen the wrong planet to invade. They had given humanity one warning, one chance to submit. Instead, we had given them a lesson they would never forget. Breaking the chain. News of Earth's victory spread across the Zaxxray Empire like a shockwave. On hundreds of subjugated worlds, enslaved species watched as humanity accomplished what none had dared imagine. Defeating the supposedly invincible Zaxxray fleet, The spark of rebellion, long suppressed, burst into flame. Dr. Sarah Chen had discovered something extraordinary in the captured Zaxray databases. The Empire's control over its slave worlds relied on automated quantum suppression systems. These networks kept billions in chains, preventing any resistance from organizing. But like all Zaxray technology, they had a fatal flaw. The entire system runs on predictable quantum frequencies, she explained to General Okonjo aboard the UES Defiant. One master signal, repeated across their entire empire. Break that signal, and we break their control, Okonjo finished. The human fleet, led by the captured Zaxray flagship, was already moving through Imperial space. Each liberated world joined the growing resistance, providing crucial intelligence about Imperial defenses. The Abraxians were the first to rise up. A species of natural engineers, they had been forced to maintain the Empire's vast machinery of oppression. When human quantum strikes disabled the suppression network over their homeworld, they turned their technical expertise against their former masters. Commander Maya Patil led the Ghost Ravens in precision strikes across dozens of worlds. Her squadron had grown, incorporating pilots from newly freed species. The Zaxray found themselves facing an enemy that adapted and evolved with each engagement, incorporating new tactics and technologies. They never imagined their slaves would fight alongside us, Maya observed as she watched an Abraxian pilot execute a maneuver that would have been impossible for a human. Their whole empire was built on the assumption that different species couldn't work together. The liberation campaign moved faster than anyone had anticipated. The rigid Zaxray military, already reeling from their defeat at Earth, couldn't adapt to the chaos of fighting on multiple fronts. Their own slaves were turning their technology against them, guided by human strategic innovations. Multiple Zaxray command centers have gone dark, Araya reported during one particularly fierce battle. The Canary Resistance has taken control of their orbital platforms. They're requesting human assistance to secure the surface. The Canary, a species of natural warriors, had been particularly brutally suppressed by the Zaxray. Their liberation unleashed centuries of pent-up fury, but rather than seek revenge, they joined the human-led coalition, bringing their martial expertise to the fight for freedom. General Okonjo stood before the First Congress of Liberated Worlds, addressing representatives from dozens of species. The Zaxray believed that diversity was weakness, that cooperation between different species was impossible. Today, we proved them wrong. Together, we're not just breaking chains, we're forging something new. The Congress became the foundation of a new interstellar alliance. Each species brought unique strengths and perspectives. The Abraxians' technical skills, combined with human innovation, created technologies that surpassed anything the Zaxray had achieved. The Canary's strategic knowledge helped identify critical weaknesses in Imperial defenses. Maya found herself training an increasingly diverse group of pilots. The Zaxray tried to keep us divided, she told her multinational, multi-species squadron. They never understood that our differences make us stronger. Every species brings something new to the fight. As the liberation campaign entered its final phase, the remaining Zaxray lords faced a force unlike anything in their history. Their empire, built on oppression and rigid hierarchy, was being dismantled by a coalition that celebrated diversity and individual initiative. Dr. Chen's quantum detection systems had evolved into a galaxy-wide communication network, allowing the resistance to coordinate across vast distances. The technology that the Zaxray had used to maintain control now served to unite those fighting for freedom. The last Imperial strongholds are requesting terms, reported a Canary commander. They've seen what happened to those who tried to resist. The Empire is falling, system by system. Humanity had not only survived its first contact with an interstellar empire, it had led a revolution that transformed the galaxy. The chains were breaking, and in their place, something new was emerging. A federation of free worlds, united not by force, but by choice. A new dawn. The final battle for the Zaxray throne world wasn't the bloodbath everyone expected. As the combined fleet of humanity and liberated species emerged from quantum space, they found a planet in revolution. The Imperial Guard, seeing their empire crumble, had turned against their masters. General Okanjo stood on the surface of Zax Prime, watching as former slaves and their one-time masters signed the Galactic Concordat. The document, drafted by representatives from 100 species, would ensure no empire could ever again rise to dominate the stars. "We didn't just break their power," Dr. Chen observed, her hologram flickering in the alien sunlight. "We showed them a better way. Even the Zax Ray themselves are changing." She was right. The younger generation of Zax Ray, seeing the prosperity that came from cooperation rather than domination, had rejected their species' ancient doctrines of superiority. Many had joined the revolution, providing crucial intelligence that helped minimize casualties during the liberation campaign. Commander Maya Patil led the honor guard as representatives from every liberated world gathered in the former imperial palace. Her ghost ravens, now a symbol of freedom across the galaxy, included pilots from 20 different species. Each brought unique abilities and perspectives that made the squadron stronger. The Zax Ray thought they were studying a primitive species, Maya told her pilots. Instead, they became a case study in humanity's greatest strength, our ability to unite people behind a common cause. Araya, whose quantum consciousness had evolved through interaction with alien AI systems, processed the historical significance of the moment. Human unpredictability, combined with the unique attributes of each liberated species, created a force that no empire could withstand. The Galactic Concordat established more than just peace. It created a framework for cooperation between vastly different species, each maintaining their independence while working together for common goals. Earth, as the catalyst for this transformation, became a central hub for interstellar diplomacy and cultural exchange. General Okanjo reviewed the final casualty reports with a mix of pride and solemnity. The campaign had cost lives, but far fewer than anyone had expected. Human ingenuity, combined with the desperate courage of the liberated species, had achieved in months what might have taken years of conventional warfare. "We gave them one warning," he reminded the assembled delegates. "We told them we were coming. They didn't believe us then. I don't think anyone will make that mistake again." The former imperial palace, once a symbol of oppression, was transformed into the Galactic Council headquarters. In its halls, representatives from hundreds of worlds worked together to build something unprecedented, a true interstellar community of equals. Dr. Chen's quantum detection technology, which had first revealed the Zax Ray presence near Earth, evolved into the foundation of a new communication network. Ideas and culture flowed freely across light years, enriching all participating civilizations. Maya watched from the cockpit of her quantum fighter as the sun rose over Zax Prime. The Ghost Ravens were no longer needed for combat, but they had a new mission: training the first generation of the Galactic Peace Force, a multinational fleet dedicated to preventing the rise of future empires. The Zax Ray had thought they were facing a primitive species, easy to conquer and subjugate. Instead, they had encountered humanity at its finest, adaptive, innovative, and most importantly, capable of uniting diverse peoples behind a common cause. As the new dawn broke over the galaxy, the age of empires ended, and a new era began. Humanity had not only survived its first interstellar war, it had transformed the very nature of galactic civilization. The stars, once highways for conquest, became bridges between friends. The warning Earth had given the Zax Ray became legend. "We are coming for you." But in the end, humanity had come not just to fight, but to liberate, to unite, and to build something greater than any empire could achieve through force alone.